We are back with another full day of eating, 1,000 calorie edition. Last time we were 3 days into a 1,000 calorie diet that I'm doing for 12 days. Now we're at day 9. Only 3 days left. I'm gonna go over some of the struggles I've been having, some of the things that I've learned throughout this process, and go over obviously all my meals because this is a full day of eating, but this will be a little bit longer of a video, but more personable of a video. You guys said that's what you wanted, so we'll get right into it. We're probably gonna structure this very similarly to how we did the first one, as in there's gonna be 3 meals because that's just what's been working for me. I'm kind of on a structure now, and the less times that I eat, the less chances I have to overeat, because once I stop eating, I'm good with not eating anymore. But when I start, it's hard for me to stop. First things first, I wanna weigh out my chicken thighs. I made some of these a few days ago. I've just been going off all the leftovers. I pretty simply put salt on them, put them in the oven, let them cook until they got to the temperature they needed to, and I took them out. They don't look that appetizing, but once they're heated up, they taste perfect. We'll cut this up into small pieces because today we are making a breakfast burrito. For most of this cut, I've been having omelets with strawberries, but I've kind of cut out most of the strawberries just because I wanted to show you something a little bit different other than an omelet, since I did that last week. A lot of people might be intimidated by a breakfast burrito thinking it's hard, but I want to show you how easy it is. With that being cut up, we just have to weigh out our vegetables. Usually I don't weigh out my vegetables, but since we're on such a strict diet that I'm trying to adhere to really give you a full view of how it was when I do like my results video, I want to make sure that I eat as close to 1,000 calories as possible every single day. So we're gonna weigh out 70 grams of red peppers. Oh, before I forget, let's start preheating this pan. And then 40 grams of onions. See how much easier this is going to make it for me. This is already cut up. I'm just weighing it out. I put it on the pan and I let it cook. It's a way easier than trying to have to cut it up every single day, using dishes, wasting time. I'd rather do all the prep work at once if possible. Very light spray of oil, and I'm gonna add the vegetables here to let them saute a little bit. While that's sauteing, I'm gonna get my Velveeta ready. I got the sharp cheddar kind this time. This is the GOAT in my opinion. Besides the jalapeno Velveeta, I can't find that anywhere in the Chicagoland area. If you know where to get the jalapeno one and you're in the Chicago area, let me know. But for now, sharp cheddar, and I'm gonna lay my burrito right on the counter so that it's ready to go for our egg whites. These carb counter tortillas are clutch. These are like the new large size that they have. They're 10 inches. I did have to order these online, but even with shipping, they would cost me about $3 or $4 more, so about $1 extra per pack than if I got them from the store anyway. And these just make for a bigger and better breakfast burrito. 80 calories, 6 protein. Hell yeah. All we want for these vegetables is for them to soften up, get a little color on them, and then we're gonna add our egg whites. And this is why I put the vegetables in there before I do the egg whites, so that has time to do that while I do something else. All right, the vegetables are ready, the eggs are ready. I'm just gonna add a little bit more spray in here and we'll pour it in. And really quickly, we're gonna add some salt, garlic, and a little bit of pepper. And I'm just gonna do this like a scramble, just keep moving it around. And that was only 4 eggs, so my eggs are cooking really fast. Now that they're almost done, I'm gonna add my chicken so we can heat that up in the pan as well. All right, everything is cooked and ready, so I'm just gonna put this across the tortilla. You might be like, why didn't you add the cheese before you put it in here? With how hot this is, the cheese is gonna melt, no problem. My secret ingredient for this recipe, Chipotle Tabasco. If you never had this, they have this at Chipotle, and when I found out they sold it at the store, I had to get it, so I'm gonna pour this across, and now we roll our burrito. What I like to do with my breakfast burritos, to make them like you got them from a restaurant, is I wrap them in parchment paper, and I heat them up in the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds. And in just about 15 minutes time, we have a fresh, flavorful breakfast burrito that's ready to eat. Some people might say that's not enough for them for breakfast. This thing's pretty heavy, and I'm not hungry in the morning. I force myself to eat just because of the fact that I know protein synthesis is important and to keep it going throughout the day, especially when in a deficit and a steep deficit like I'm in. And yes, even 9 days into eating 1,000 calories per day, I still don't have an appetite in the morning. It just is what it is, and the fat burner that Gorilla Mind makes is absolutely terrific, so that just adds on top of me not having any appetite because it crushes it. I've never made this before, so let's see how it is. Right away, you get the softened red peppers with the onions, hits you right in the face. Then you get that sharp cheddar Velveeta, a little bit of the chicken, a little bit of the egg white. Absolutely delicious. So for our first meal, we have 310 calories, 34 protein, 34 carb, which a lot of those are coming from the fiber in the tortilla, and 11 fat. I'm gonna eat this, finish my protein breadstick recipe video, and I will see you for the next meal. First things first, and we're gonna have our greens because of course on a 1,000-calorie diet, I'm not getting all the micronutrients that I need. Doesn't taste very good. Greens probably shouldn't taste very good. And what I'm gonna do to counteract that is use one of these Skittles packets. Yesterday I used green, today I'm gonna use pink. That packet honestly makes it so much better. Just wash this out and we're gonna put our protein shake in there. And why are we doing a protein shake before we go to the gym? Well, technically I'm going to have it right after my workout and before I start cardio, because any food that I can have outside of the house, the better. The more temptation I have, the more chance I have to snack on stuff, and I want to have as big of a dinner as possible. So I went with a scoop and a half of PE Science cookies and cream. E4CM saves you 10%, but I do love the cookies and cream flavor. And I'm gonna put about 3 pieces of ice so that the shake is still cold by the time I am done with my workout. Since I already took a fat burner in the morning, I want to make sure I don't have too much stimulants. So 1, I get good sleep, and 2, just for health purposes in general. So I'm gonna go with 1 scoop of the non-stim Gorilla Mode, and then 1 scoop of the stimulant Gorilla Mode. And I will see you at the gym. All right, we're about to work out. I got my Gorilla Mode on deck, 10% off with code E4CM. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, Nick, how in the hell do you feel when you've had only 1,000 calories for over a week now? And I will tell you, it's really not as bad as you would think. People are out here calling me crazy, calling me unhealthy, thinking I have a problem, saying that I'm like telling other people to do this or I'm rubbing off on other people. Listen, if that's what you get from this, I understand. If like I'm not your type of guy and you think that I'm like a bad influence, if you don't watch the videos, I completely understand. I am just trying to show you what I am personally going through to get to my goals and what is working for me. With that being said, it has really gone exceedingly well. I honestly thought at this point I would be more lethargic, more hungry, and my workouts would be worse. We will go over the workout portion after this clip, but right now I feel tremendous. I mean, the sun's out, it is nice as hell out. I was cruising listening to music, so I do feel really good right now. But just in general, besides the actual time that I'm eating, where I want to keep eating when I'm done, and that's just like any time, I feel fine. I've had 1 workout that was low energy, and that was because I didn't go to the gym until like midnight. And right now it's 6 o'clock, so that's very late for me, and this is usually when I go. I will say Sunday was the hardest for me because I usually always have more calories on Sunday because I usually have like a cheat meal or we go and eat out, me and my girlfriend. This Sunday was by far the hardest to not overeat whatsoever, but I got through Sunday and we did it. But other than that, the weekdays are the weekdays, and I'm super busy anyway. I have a lot going on both in my personal life and with trying to keep up with videos and everything, and the Instagram and like editing, all this stuff, that keeping myself busy really has kept me going and not thinking about food as much. And again, I've kept myself out of the kitchen as much as possible. I'm gonna drink this, work out. I will see you afterwards. Okay, so first of all, let it be known that wearing boxers to the gym and forgetting your Under Armour is the worst. I have the worst SWAS in the world right now, and it was like 99 degrees in Chicago today. Awful. However, as far as the workout goes, today was leg day. Today was a real test because it's day 9 of eating 1,000 calories and the first official day of the 2nd week of resistance training while on these calories. I was worried. Leg day is hard as it is, but it wasn't really any harder than any other day. Today was Smith machine squat, then we did sissy squats, which I've really been loving, but I just started doing like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And then I've been really trying to grow those calves. So I did 4 sets, really hard sets of sitting calf raise, and then 4 really hard sets, pass failure, of standing calf raise. And then we finished it out with dips so I could hit a little bit of chest and try. Overall, I went down 1 rep on one of the Smith machine squat sets, and then I went up a couple reps on the calf raises. So for everyone that thinks that I'm going to just lose a ton of muscle, I'll be rolling the clips as we speak and I'll let you decide for yourself. I feel really good. My strength hasn't decreased whatsoever, and if that's an indicator of muscle loss or muscle gain or maintenance of my muscle, I would be in the camp that my muscle has stayed, because my strength numbers have not went down whatsoever. If anything, some of my reps or some of my weights have gone up since the start of this period, which I'm extremely happy about. A little bit surprised. I expected it to stay the same, if not a little bit worse, but pretty much almost everything has went up, and I'm almost at the point where I increase my calories back to maintenance. Honestly, this workout was super motivating. There's 3 more lifts left until this diet is done with, and then I get to eat so much more, and the lifts should only get better. So I will see you at the house for a superb, at least I hope, dinner after I take a shower, because I'm literally sweating ass. I'm not gonna lie, I'm completely winging this. I've already calculated the calories and everything, but I've never made this. We'll see how it turns out. The goal is to make a Chipotle burrito bowl that is way bigger than any burrito bowl you can get, and also way lower calorie. Let's get into it. First up, we have riced cauliflower. Obviously, I would love to have real rice. Don't have the calories for it. This is super simple. I don't have to buy cauliflower and rice it myself. So I'm going to heat this up and hope for the best. We have to weigh out our butter, and yes, I have some room for some butter, and we have to melt it in our pan. So for now, I'm gonna turn this on low, because that butter is gonna melt really fast. What would Chipotle rice be without cilantro? And I'm gonna go in between a cup and a cup and a half, a cup and a quarter. And since I got some time, I'm gonna go ahead and try and get the bigger stems out. I think it's important when you only have so many calories to log your dinner before you start making it, because it's very easy for you to make what you want and then log it and be like, oh shit, I went over my calories by 200, 300, 400. And it doesn't matter if it's like my calories or if it would be like 2,000 calories. It's very easy to go over when you're just throwing stuff in, especially for dinner when a lot of people are hungry. They're a little cold, but they're gonna warm up when I mix it with the butter and I turn up the heat. And I'm gonna crush my lime in there right now too. You could do it by hand, but these things are the best. I'm gonna go with 1. If it needs more, I'll add more later. Of course, we gotta add salt. I got all the stems out of the cilantro, so I'm just gonna give this a rough chop. Now I know, just like spinach, you don't want to add this in until like it's done, because you don't want this to wilt when it's in the pan. I'm gonna give this another stir, then we have to try it to see where it's at. Should we add more salt? Should we take it out? Should we let it sit for a while? It needs more salt. I do wish I could have added like another half serving of butter, but if you guys want me to make a recipe for this, let me know, because I think just with a little bit more butter and a couple trials, I could definitely dial this in. And I mean, this is like a walk, and look how much you can eat. Especially once I tell you the calories, you're gonna be like, holy shit. Now that's dialed in. What we're gonna do now is pour this into here. And what comes next at Chipotle? Meat. Well, I guess beans, but I'm not adding any beans. I'm not a huge beans guy, especially like whole beans. Refried beans, fire. But we got this beef steak that I got from Walmart. It's already done. I just gotta heat it up. So it's not gonna be Chipotle steak, but it's gonna make this recipe super simple. Plus there's 2 servings in here, and that's exactly what I want. I'm gonna let that heat up for a minute. Oh my God, I gotta add my cilantro to my rice. That doesn't look like Chipotle's rice. I don't know what does. Let's give it a taste. A little more salt. Beef's pretty good. It tastes more like a fajita beef, but for it being pre-made and just having to heat it up for a minute, excellent. The rice is officially dialed. Meat's all ready. Next thing when you're on the line at Chipotle is cheese. I would definitely be adding more if I had more calories, but we're gonna add 1 ounce of the fat-free mozzarella. Then we got some crema. Actually, I'm doing Greek yogurt, but to me, same thing. I got a whiff, doesn't pass the smell test. No sour cream. Since that is the case, I'm just gonna add another ounce of cheese. Kind of disappointing, but whatever. And of course I wish I could add avocado or guacamole, but I just don't have the calories. What I should have picked up was pico de gallo, but I wasn't even thinking that I was making this for sure when I was at Walmart yesterday. That would have been really good, and I could have put a whole bunch of it on there. The last thing we need and the finishing touch is the actual Chipotle Tabasco. We use it for breakfast and we turn around and we use it for dinner too. I weighed this bowl beforehand to see how heavy this is. After subtracting the bowl, there is 847 grams of content in this bowl. So that's like 1 3/4 pounds of food. For how many calories, Nick? This meal comes to a total of 519 calories, 65 protein, 39 carb, and 13 fat. For just over 500 calories, I mean, you really can't get much better, whether you're shredding or not. We gotta try it though. And we're gonna wash it down with a Dr. Pepper Very Berry, limited edition. Highly recommend you get it if you find it. Straight gas. Taste test. I don't even care what you guys comment anymore. I definitely have to make this recipe for the channel. First try, this is like an 8 out of 10 what Chipotle would be. You can't copy what rice would taste like, but it's close, especially with all this like cilantro, lime, salt you have going on. You have the real Chipotle Tabasco on top, melted cheese. Steak's not the same, but for 15 minutes, like 5 dishes and 1 3/4 pounds of food for 500 calories, this is an absolute banger, and I am extremely happy that I made it. Real quick, like this video if you're getting value, but on the day we have 1,012 calories, 136 protein, 78 carb, 27 fat. It's still really weird saying that out loud, but this hasn't been as bad as people would think it would be, or at least for my preferences and the amount of days I've done this in a row. I think I'll do one more full day of eating, like the last day. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comment section below. This full day of eating was great, but if you haven't seen the first one, you should check it out here, and until next time, deuces.